Nix automatische Übersetzung. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Just change the automatic translation back to normal. Welcome to my live stream, guys. I have a lot of good stuff today. My mom brought me different types of seeds, so we will go through them later. We would see. But yeah, welcome to my live stream, guys. Great to be back. I brought a few seedlings here and there that need to be watered. Yeah, watering is usually the main issue today that stands out. But I also brought a few of these to look through. Then I have new garden material here for the live stream that I also got. I removed the brand. I didn't want to, but yeah, these are also new for the live stream. Drinking a little bit of coffee. And then I'm ready. But yeah, great to be back, guys. I hope you have a great day. I'm so happy that it's the weekend again. I made it. It was a long week this week. A lot of work. A lot of gardening work and that kind of stuff. Getting started with the greenhouses. Okay, so I will go through the containers and everything. Let me just bring my equipment. I brought a few empty square pots that we can use to repot. A few seedlings here and there. Okay. I washed these right before coming into the live stream, just so they are clean. I've been doing a lot of videos yesterday, a lot of videos with sick plants that needed treatment, so everything had to be cleaned very well. But yeah, let's get started here. Okay, so these here need water. I wanted to wait until the soil is dried out. You can see that when you see the mineral deposits here on the soil. And we don't really have a very hard water here locally, but you always have that. So I want to water them. For now they look good. Healthy roots and all that. I'm happy about that. So a little bit of water, and then they come back under the plant lamp. Just spraying them a little bit to give them that classic feeling of natural rain. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, it looks okay. Healthy soil. I'm not seeing any kind of issues here. So I can just move this back. I will bring it back. We'll have it here again, maybe in 3 or 4 days. We will see how long the soil takes to dry out. And yeah, welcome to my live stream, guys. Doing a lot of gardening stuff today. Cactus seedlings, cactus care, sowing out. I have a lot of seedlings here. Some that I want to repot later, singling out. I have this ridiculously full pot here. Hey, good morning. Welcome to my live stream. Thank you for being here. Yeah, great to be back. I always look forward to this. Been doing like an hour preparing for the live stream today again. So it's always great to do it. And yeah, I will single these out later today. They will be split up maybe into 2 or 3 pots. And for now, we will water a little bit more, go through the seedlings that urgently need water. And then maybe we're looking into the takeaway containers that I brought. These are also good for sowing out. A little bit less good, but they're still doing okay. So yeah, always happy to take questions if you like. If not, I'm just spraying the seedlings, watering, or discussing the problems that I see. So yeah, and I wanted to water this one here. The soil was completely dry, and at that point, with such small seedlings, you need to water fast. They just don't have that much time in between when the soil dries out and when they really need that water. So yeah, spraying them a few times now. I have brought these out a little early due to the moss that was growing on the soil. I had a pretty nasty moss that was growing there in between the seedlings, and that's why I wanted to take it out of the bag just to let it dry out. Okay, so I'm just looking for my equipment that I brought here. Yeah, like I said, here are the seeds. We will go through them later. I'm not sure if this is something that I actually wanted to grow, but now that I have the seeds donated, we might still do it. I really want to try out to sow out everything that I can on the live stream. You know, when you suddenly find the interesting kind of cultivar, interesting thing, then growing it on the live stream from beginning to the end, that would be great. Okay, so here's one. They are roughly 3 months old now, and they need water. Soil is relatively dry. I had repotted the seedlings here into new soil. In this case, this is sowing soil, and yeah, they've been repotted into that maybe 2 weeks ago, and now it's just time to water on a regular basis to keep them healthy. So I would spray them a little, and then I'll see if maybe 1 or 2 of the seedlings need to be corrected. Sometimes they have a bad position. If you transplant seedlings into new soil, eventually the soil will sink in a little, and that will lead to changes in the way you move the seedlings, and you sometimes have to fix that on a regular basis until the soil is kind of in the final position in the pot. The more you water, the more it will compress and sink down. So yeah, just correcting 1 or 2 seedlings here, nothing bad. They look good. I'm happy with them. Just want to make sure that they stay happy. So I kind of put them a little deeper. Some of them, the ones that are a little bit crooked, I've put them a little deeper now. Yeah, apart from that, this can go back. This will just go under the plant lamp, maybe in the shade. The ones that are looking better are getting the worst spots. I really try to keep the best spots under the plant lamp reserved for the weak plants that you would otherwise lose if you don't give them the ideal care. These here can take a few days in a somewhat bad spot. I'm currently rotating seedlings, and to make sure that they all get a little bit of light, and these will just, there's no need to overdo it with them. Okay, so these here need water. Only 2 seedlings, 2 bigger seedlings, and there's a smaller one on the right side here. I don't think that small seedling here has a chance, to be honest. But these 2 really look good. I'm sure we can get these to adulthood. We can get them flowering. So for now, we'll just have a look at the label. Want to see what it is. This is Humcus Roro, and for that, they look good. There were quite a few discussions about Humcus Roro in the beginning. It's a Hildewinterer kind of hybrid and intergeneric hybrid, also with Echinopsis, and that means some of the seedlings that we grew weren't so healthy, but these here, they look okay. That's good. If we can get 1 or 2 plants from that, then I'm happy. That's all I want. I only need 1 plant if I can get it to flowering. Okay. So these here, let's have a look. Yeah, the color stands out. That yellowish kind of color, and this is genetic. They have been getting fertilizer from the beginning. They had fertilizer in the soil. Then they've been fertilized on a regular basis, like once every 3 weeks or so. So they shouldn't have that yellow color, but they do. probably variegation at this point. I will water them now. Then I will see that, then I will see if I can move this seedling here. That one has fallen over. I want to move that one back into the soil, and you often need to water the soil to make it flexible, so you can do that. If you do it without watering the soil, you can break off the roots very easily. Okay. So yeah, here's a seedling on the outer area here, down there. I want to take that one more towards the center, because when they are so far on the outside, you often don't see them, and very often they just get a totally different amount of light and water when they are a little bit not in an optimal position, a little bit further away. So I try to correct that a little bit, and I realized that the soil needs to be a little bit more flexible, needs more water. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to have you. Thank you for joining. Yeah. So trying to move a few seedlings. Here's one that's lying. I wanna really take care of that one. These kind of seedlings that are lying on the soil, it's just an invitation for trouble. So yeah, that comes into the soil. Now I have a few more seedlings that are here behind that kind of edge, and I think I would take them out there too, because that's a bad kind of position. You're already disadvantaging the seedlings, and then if something happens like a pest, a little slug, then you're losing them, or they might just fall down and you don't even notice. And in between, I always spray a little water to keep the visibility, to keep the mud away from my tools. And the soil was so dry that needed to be done to make it flexible, to move anything here. I'm still not 100% happy with everything. So yeah, I move 2 seedlings here. They come more towards the center. We can always single them out later when they are bigger. They are too small right now. And I wouldn't move them unless I really thought this was necessary. Okay, this is the last one. And that one looks a little bit variegated too. Some are a little bit greener than others. Okay. So this is going back under the lamp. This is okay. I spray them every time the soil has completely dried out. Like during the day, it really depends on where I place them under the lamp. In the most exposed spot under the lamp, this can dry up within maybe three or 4 hours. So yeah, next one. These look okay, maybe 3 months old now. They are too deep in the pot. That is the issue that has been pretty common in the beginning, and now it's getting better. I take greater care at filling the pot, actually filling the pot with soil. But yeah, the moment you start watering, you lose additional soil that goes out of the drainage holes at the bottom. So yeah, I would spray them now, but we will have to repot them very soon. Today I want to repot different seedlings. These here will be repotted today. They just need it more urgently. They are in a more, like, there's a lot of pressure on the seedlings in this one because they are growing and growing, and eventually they will give in. I don't think that the pot will break. I think the seedling will rather break, and that's why we single them out over maybe 2 or 3 different containers. Okay, so this needs a little bit more water. In this one, I also have these seedlings that are, see that back there on the corner. This is a bad position for a seedling. Let me see if I can fix that maybe. Gotta be careful with the little root that they have. Sometimes you can easily rip that out with one bad move. Okay. Yeah, and the seedlings that I pulled out from back there, like in that little crevice there, they look worse. They look more dehydrated. They just don't get as much light. They don't get as much water. Okay. Yeah, for now, this is all right. They will be watered on a regular basis. I need to see every time the soil dries out. I need to recognize that. I need to see that. This is when it's so deep, that's also a little disadvantage because you really need to check to estimate when you need to water again. Yeah, look, you get used to it. Eventually, you get a feeling for how much a seedling can take and what it can't take. So you get used to it eventually. But being careful with the seedlings, it's a good thing. It's entirely positive that you are handling them with care. They are really like I have lost countless seedlings from handling them poorly. And that's how you get a feeling for it. You just lose many seedlings until you know how you shouldn't do it, you know? So yeah, but that's a good thing. Okay, so these need more water. I think we lost a seedling due to underwatering. Like here, in this area here. Maybe even more than one. The alternative is this was fungus gnat, but I personally believe this was just dehydration. This is a container that was forgotten a little bit more. Let me see what's going on here. Here's a seedling that is missing the root system. That's not a good sign. This could mean fungus gnats still. Yeah, let's put this aside. Maybe we graft it. Okay, so this needs to be watered again. They definitely are a little bit dehydrated and need a little bit more water now. About that seedling, we will look, but something wasn't going perfectly here. Something must have decimated the seedlings, and it can be so simple that it was just dehydration, that you forget to water them. These kind of seedlings, sometimes when you really forget about one pot, you can lose them. Next time you see that pot after 2 weeks or so, can already be too late for some of the seedlings, you know, that are really dehydrated at the time. Do you mean spider mite and that kind of stuff? With the cactus seedlings, it's rarely a problem. In my opinion, the bigger spider mite outbreaks often have to do with care, often have to do with not enough water. So every time I see I see an infestation with spider mites, I try to take greater care at watering those plants. It's just a thing that when you have seedlings that don't get the basics, that don't get all the water that they need or all the nutrients that they need, then these kind of pests will have a great time. They can just suddenly explode because, like, the populations explode because the seedlings are not healthy enough to kind of defend themselves. And yeah, That's why, in my opinion, like I don't see a lot of spider mite inside the house, because I have more, like it is easier to look at the seedling to judge which ones need water and which ones do not. Outside in the greenhouses, I often find these local outbreaks, and then it's usually mealybug. But also, if you have the plants, like if you have, let's say you have a shelf where you forget about certain, maybe 10, 15 plants on a shelf, and you forget to water them for a while, those plants will be the first that will have massive issues. This is just the kind of setting that benefits these pests, that then, because once you water them, you water down all the spider mites, all the little things that are sitting on the cactus seedlings, on the plants. If you are constantly spraying them, they will have a much harder time to produce these immense populations that can really take down seedlings or plants. You can still have spider mite problems, that sometimes there's 1 or 2 pots where you have a local outbreak, where you just have a species or a certain type of cactus that is more vulnerable to that kind of stuff. You can always have that, but it usually shouldn't become that huge issue if you focus on good care. Just make sure to water them often, spray them often, because the spraying already blows away so much. And the same is true in the greenhouse. If you are regularly spraying down, hosing down the plants, that will greatly reduce the problems that you have with spider mites. In nature, you also have spider mites. They are also around, but they can't really thrive in these conditions. So a good way to deal with them is to just create a setup, create your own grow space, keep the setting in a way that where they can't cause these huge outbreaks, where they can't build these mass populations. Actually, no. I wasn't, but yeah. Maybe I should do that more often. So yeah, let's continue. I have these that I reported not that long ago. This is sowing soil, pretty good standard soil, and they just need water for now. Just spraying them once. Maybe we will correct 1 or 2 of the seedlings, like change the position of the seedlings a little bit. But for now, this looks okay. Not seeing any kind of bad discolorations at the roots. They don't look immensely dehydrated. This is pretty good. Sometimes when you put them in new soil, they really repay that by growing well. Okay, so these I watered earlier, and I watered them again because the soil has, in the meantime, dried up again, and you could already water. This will be dry within an hour. So maybe let's give it a little bit more, that it allows the seedlings to have a little bit more time to take in the water. Okay. So here's seedlings that I repotted. I think I dropped them, which was the reason that I repotted them. But yeah, now I need to be a little bit more careful. I feel like some of them have a little bit unclean root system. Like the lower part look a little bit discolored. I don't like what I'm seeing here, so I will water them now, just to make sure that they are not dehydrating. When I'm growing seedlings, when I'm growing bigger plants, I give a lot of water. Cacti just needs a surprising amount of water to thrive. You can keep them alive with less water, but when you really want them to do well, to flower, then they need a surprising amount of water. So I'm spraying them very often on a regular basis during the day, depending on how dry the soil is. I want it to dry out in between, just to to get rid of any potential pests like fungus gnat. Okay, yeah, these need water. Have been repotted already, and they're growing nicely. You can see the spines that they are growing. Not bad. These are by Uwe Kahle seedlings, Uwe Kahle hybrid cross with Cisala. So I'm watering them now. I might have to fix one or two, like the position of one or two seedlings. Thank you. I'm just glad when they make it. I don't really aim for that perfect kind of super healthy seedling. As long as I can get them to adulthood and flowering, then I'm happy. I also try to not overload them with nutrients. I try not to let them grow too fast, because that often comes at the cost of general health. Like when you fertilize them too much, that kind of stuff. I try to give them time. Yeah, that often happens after, like when the soil kind of dried out. I had the same problem. Like usually during the heat waves, after the heat waves, that kind of stuff can happen. And yeah, it's hard to kind of tell how much water the plant can take. Drainage holes in the pot are necessary, of course, that make that a little bit less of an issue. But when it's raining a lot on one day, like when you have the plants outside, for example, that can always happen, that they take in more water than they can really store safely. Okay. So these get a little bit more water now. I feel like they look good. I would just send them back. For now, this is all right. Don't have to do anything if it's not necessary. So they go back here. I will put them back under the lamp, give them maybe 12 hours of light during the day. And that's okay. Theoretically, you could grow them under 24 hours light. But it costs a lot of money, costs a lot of electricity. So I have them at 12 hours light and 12 hours darkness. That's good enough for me. Okay, so these here, in this case, I have seedlings that are in washed pumice. I'm not really working with it anymore inside the house. It's just a too kind of dirty mineral. And when I say that, I mean it's so light that it keeps falling out of the pot. So wherever you take your little cacti with pumice in it, you will lose it everywhere. It comes out of the drainage pots at like the drainage holes at the bottom, and then you have pumice everywhere. So long term, I try to limit it to just classic sowing soil, not sowing out in mineral medium anymore. It's just at some point you don't need it. You know that you can make it work even in an organic soil. You just have to have a good water management. You have to know when to water. You have to know when not to water. But it works like that. But only if you can keep them inside, have control over the seedlings, have control over what kind of a temperature they get, how much water they get, that kind of stuff. So as long as I keep the seedlings inside the house, I can grow them like this. If I would have to move them in the greenhouse and overwinter them in the greenhouse directly as little seedlings, they would be a little safer in pumice. Mineral medium is great. It's probably safer for people who don't know how much to water exactly, or who can't guarantee that drip water won't drip in the pot. But yeah, you can still have amazing results in sowing soil, that kind of stuff. Very normal, classic kind of soil. $2 $2.50 for a bag, something like that. Don't spend too much for that kind of thing. This is a very low budget kind of hobby. You don't have to pay a lot of money for it. Seeds are very often relatively affordable. Of course, it depends on what kind of seeds you buy, but it's a relatively, like, the entry into the hobby is really affordable. So here I have 2 containers with seedlings that don't look so, like, that are really small. There were reasons that I brought them out a little early here. And in this case, I always try to let the soil dry out completely, and then I water them again. And this is now at the point where I can water them again. And not with a lot of pressure. These are really tiny, fragile little seedlings. I don't want to hammer them into the soil. I just want to spray them a little. We might also move the seedlings a little bit more to just give them a better position. I don't like how crooked this looks. It's not that it needs to be perfectly straight, but the closer it is to the soil, the more dangerous it gets for the seedling. I like to have a little air, little oxygen around the seedlings. I'm trying to compress the soil a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this is all right. This can go back. And I have these not directly under the lamp, like not getting the excess of the sunlight, in a little bit more shady kind of area on the side. They can't take as much as some of the other seedlings yet. Okay, a little bit of rain here. Here's a seedling that I just want to correct a little bit. Wasn't bad, but why have them totally crooked when you can put them straight into the soil? Yeah, okay, this is enough. 3 seedlings, and that's enough for me. If I can get them, like if I end up with 1 plant, I'm happy about it. Okay, same here. They look okay. Those have been repotted. This is already the 2nd soil that we have used on the live stream. And yeah, they look okay. Here's a double header. Yeah. And you don't see them so often, so terribly often, from these kind of Candicans, Sörensia Candicans hybrids. So this is nice. A little bit more water for them. But in general, I like what I see. They look good. They're growing. I can see healthy spines. Everything's on a good path here. Okay, then I wanted to have a look at these. I don't like how the soil looks. This is so dried up, but it needed to dry out because the soil looked unhealthy. And yeah, it still looks unhealthy a little bit. This was a hybrid cross with relatively sickly looking cactus seedlings. A lot of variegation. I mean, they're still not green. They continue to grow, which is a great sign in my opinion. At this point, a full variegated albino seedling would have given in, probably. So for now they are growing, and that could mean that we get an interesting kind of mutant that is able to be somewhat variegated, have a little bit of variegation, but still is able to grow on the root relatively healthily. I want to water them now, and then we'll decide what to do. It could be a good time to repot the seedlings, to take them out of the soil and put them into new soil. But yeah, the soil looks really hard, like bricked, like a solid brick of soil. And when you have that, you have to be very careful when you take the seedlings apart. I'm a little bit worried that that we might lose a few that have a chance to survive if I water them in this kind of medium. So let me have a closer look. There are a bunch of seedlings that are really small. I picked these up just so I have them away from the soil. I don't want them to start rotting on the soil. Here's a seedling that I'm probably taking out. It was just lying there and it has no real root system. Even the little cactus seedling should have some sort of a very basic kind of root. And if it's not there, it probably was there and got eaten away or broke off. And that can be a huge problem later on. Okay, I will spray them another time here. I really want that soil to be flexible, to be usable. Here's a seedling that keeps falling over, but it still has roots. I just try to maybe push it a little bit deeper into the soil with the root ball. But again, this is very dry kind of soil. I would love to repot them all now. This is just not good soil. We will do it. We will do it. We will transplant them. I'm sick of this. I'm getting a little pot, a little soil, and then we are moving them. So yeah, let me just get started here. And there would be, this is the first soil that I used. Like this morning, someone was asking about that blackish kind of soil in the comments of the channel. And someone asked me, really cemetery soil? Like taken from cemeteries? And I said, no, it's bagged soil. They are selling it in a bag for the purpose to use also for display on gravesites. And that is the kind of stuff that we used, but it has a lot of disadvantages. So we're changing from the first generation of soil into the new one, which I have below the table. So let's get started here. Yeah, and this is the soil that I have here. This is just sowing soil. A good all-rounder. In my opinion, I love that kind of soil. It is organic enough that you have time, that the seedlings have time to take in the water when you water them, but it dries out fast. It still dries out fast. So this isn't the type of soil that stays wet for 2 weeks. And that's exactly the type of stuff where you need to be careful with when you're dealing with cactus seedlings. You don't want soil that once you water it, it will not dry up again. That's just bad news. That will, at some point when the temperatures go low, it can instantly, like it increases the likelihood that something will happen. Okay, so I will move the seedlings. I will try to take these little balls of seedlings apart. Check it out. Yeah, sometimes I don't completely take them apart. Like I have them in little groups of maybe 2 or 3 seedlings, because they can give each other stability then. But yeah, I try to split them up a little bit now, so I can move them in the soil the way I want them to move. The moment you have a few seedlings together, it's like you're trying to put together 3 pool noodles and they all fall into a different direction. You just want them so you can, if you push against it, nothing on the other side will fall over again. So that's why I'm trying to single them out a little bit more now. Makes it easier to plant them. Yeah, and these are a lot of seedlings. This is Teleflora. We might actually be able to split them up over 2 containers. And I think we're doing that. Okay. And I'm always filling up the pot. I don't want to have that empty pot again. like I had in the beginning. Yeah, it's really, it's not easy, but you get used to it. Don't be scared. At some point, and the good part is when you are growing cacti, when you're actually able to raise them from seeds, you will never be short of seedlings. There's always more that you can sow out. So don't worry. If something doesn't work out, it wasn't supposed to be. It just wasn't. But most of them make it. You will see when we're singling them out now, that will help. Every time I'm singling seedlings out, I find these little tiny infections, like where one seedling didn't make it, where the space wasn't enough. Like here, there are like 10 seedlings on a very small piece of soil. And that can just, one seedling is starting to rot, then you instantly have a huge issue. So on the long term, even if you lose a few when you're transplanting, it's still safer. Still safer than doing nothing. Okay. Yeah, some of them don't look so great. A lot of them are variegated, but they are growing. They actually have a root, at least some of them. This one doesn't. So let's put this aside. Okay, this isn't Teleflora. This is a hybrid by Uwe Kahle, from the cross Vieh crossed with Goldrose. Two hybrids. One by, I think, Uwe Kahle, and the other by Hartmut Kellner. Yeah, thank you. I'm not in the seed business anymore, but I'm sure you will find some great sources on the market. Right now, there's a lot of good people selling seeds, so I'm sure you will have. I like that part. You know, I love buying seeds. It's just nice to look at the photos of the parents and try to predict what you could have in the future, what could grow from them. I really like that. On the other hand, when you're then stuck with a million seedlings, then that makes things a lot more complicated. Yeah, but sowing out is actually a super fun thing. I really love it. That's why I enjoy the live stream. I just enjoy sowing out. Like when I got started in the beginning, and I lost, and I really failed trying to grow something from seeds. I always wanted to have that. I wanted to be able to do that. I had a lot of issues when I got started. At the time, I didn't know that I need more light, or that I was not watering enough. That kind of stuff, you know, like the classic mistakes that you do. And I always wanted to be able to do it successfully, because it opens this whole new world. Like it could be the end of humanity, but you could still grow. You could still grow your stuff. You could still grow your plants the way you want it. You still have something to eat. It's a great feeling to be able to do that. And it's a skill that you need to learn. It's like learning a music instrument. So yeah, we will see. Some of the seedlings don't look super healthy, but now that we're singling them out, maybe they will turn around. It's definitely a somewhat like partially variegated cross. I can see a lot of the seedlings that look weird, and that makes it interesting. I have no idea how these will come out. One of the parents involved here is a hybrid called Goldrose, and people call it an Echinopsis, but it's actually a multi-hybrid. And yeah, it's very unique, very good. Sometimes, like when I see a great hybrid, I can recognize it in some of the newer hybrids, like when it's been used in them. And it's one of the plants that is like a secret like a well-kept secret because it's so good at producing good offspring. So yeah, Goldrose by Hartmut Kellner, good hybrid. And no matter what you get, it's always interesting. Even if the flower isn't what you wanted, it's still an interesting flower. Okay, so I split them up over 2 containers now. And now I want to spray them. Just spraying the seedlings. I want to have that raining down. I want to clean the seedlings. I don't want to have dirt all over them when I pot them up. They need to be able to actually take in the sunlight through the skin. So they need to be clean. And also when the soil is a little bit more flexible, that allows me to just push the seedling into the soil. I don't want to have soil that sticks to anything, not the instrument that I'm using or the seedling. And if that happens, I spray again. It's like you're doing surgery and you're keeping it clean by putting something like water or whatever they are doing to keep the wound clean when you're working like as a surgeon, something like that. They always need visibility, and this is the same. The little roots, they are so fragile that you need to, like when you're pushing on top of the seedling, it can't break at the bottom. Okay, so I try to pot them a little bit deeper, and that will hopefully protect the lower area of the root just a little bit. Keep them straight. I don't want them to have that shaky kind of back and forth wobbling that you sometimes see from seedlings that aren't properly in the soil. I really want them deep in the soil. If something is too deep, I can always pull it out later when I feel like this looks like it's going down. Okay. Yeah, and since the pot here, this has drainage holes, so any excess water will just run down at the bottom, and that's good. So I don't really have to worry about how much water I put in here. If this were something like this, takeaway container, then you couldn't do it like this. Okay. Yeah, they look weird. Very slender kind of seedlings from this cross. I'm not sure what kind of a body we will get here. So usually when I see the seedlings, I know what kind of a species will come out. With these, I'm not sure. It's too early to tell. I can only tell you that they look funky, but that's the only thing. Okay, a little bit more water. It's getting better. I'm almost done here. Just a few more. And I will always have to correct it again later. You're never fully done when you're doing that. You're always moving something, keeping something straight, making sure that there's no seedling rotting in between. You always have to clean up. Some seedlings just don't make it. Everyone who has grown something knows that. You will never get them all. It can happen sporadically, but it's not the norm that every seedling makes it. Okay. So this is all right for now. I need a label. I only have one label in this one, and we will write it when we're done with the others here. Now I'm doing the same with the second pot, just trying to get them deep into the soil. I really don't want them to wiggle around when I'm picking the pot up when I'm doing something, I want them to stay where they are. Okay. Yeah, and I'm pretty certain that we can get most of these seedlings through, that they will make it. Right now, we just have to be careful a little bit, but then on the long term, if we can pot them all up, they should actually pull through. They seem to be able to at least grow a little bit of green, and that's enough. And there are also a few seedlings in between that are so tiny that you can't predict what will happen to them. We will see. Okay. Here's a piece of wood or something like that. I'm taking that out. I don't want to have anything solid that the seedlings can grow into. Otherwise it gets hard to remove that again later. In my opinion, when I have a little piece of root bark lying around there, very often when I take it away, something from a seedling, like some root of a seedling, is always hanging on it. So I try to take it out before that happens, before they grow into each other. Okay, so here's a seedling that I will probably take out. This looks bad, yeah. This is an unhealthy seedling. If a seedling is obviously not among the living anymore, we don't need it. I believe in giving chances, but sometimes you know that it's beyond chances, you know. Okay, a little bit more water, and then I'm almost done here. Then we will write the label. I will look up that hybrid, like Phi. I suppose it's a German word, spelled F-I-I, and in German they would call it Phi, because an I is spoken like a E. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know if this is a good hybrid or not. Usually when I get something from Uwe, it's usually great. So I would treat them as potentially great. But I would love to see a photo. Okay. Yeah, just need my pencil. And the pencil's gone. Why am I so bad at keeping order? Like on my desk, you know? It's like everywhere I go, chaos comes with me. I'm not sure where my... Yeah, I will write it with a text marker. I just don't like to do it with that because I feel like a pencil is better. These kind of, you know, magic markers, pencils, like fine liners, they often dissolve when you're spraying with a chemical, with a fertilizer. So I try not to use it. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to have you. Thank you. I'm great. I'm okay. Thank you. I hope you are too. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice and sunny outside. I spend a lot of time with the animals. Either animals are doing video stuff for the channel. The new season for me has already begun, and now I'm basically filming. This is bad. I need my pencil. Where's my pencil? I usually have 3 or 4 pencils here, and now they're all gone. Okay, well, I will look it up later. I will find it later, and I will try to write the label later. Just putting this here into the pot now. This will stay out, will not put it in a bag. And later I will have another look for that pencil. It's not, can't believe it. It's always gone. Thank you. I'm just getting started. This isn't really, it's not really, I'm not sure if I want to do so much of it, like with the plant, treating seedlings, that kind of stuff. But it's interesting, you know? It's interesting to sometimes film a video to just talk something through and to discuss what you could do, like the potential, like when you have a fungal infection on a seedling, how to treat it, that kind of stuff. I like that idea. But yeah, we're close. We're getting close to the flower season too. So sometime soon we will start with the real stuff from outside. Until then, it gives me a little bit more time to film when I clean up the seedlings, when I'm doing a little bit weeding out of little grass and that kind of stuff. But thank you. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to the new season now. It's time. Okay, so these need water. And I will also take out that piece of wood that rolled around there. That's exactly why I hate it. Yeah, this was the first soil that we used. And really with huge pieces of wood. I had one where I pulled a wood piece of this size out of the pot. Okay, yeah, this needs water. Just spraying them a few more times today because they are pretty small still. There are seedlings that are already relatively safe, like this here. And when I say relatively safe, doesn't mean you can't lose them. But if you don't make mistakes, you don't lose them. And these here, these are at a point where you could still lose them and do everything right. So yeah, I can't really forget to water them. All right. And I'm always happy to take questions if you like, if you want to know something. If not, I'm just going through the seedlings that we have grown, that I've sown out here. When are you expecting your first flower to come? I say maybe May, mid-May. The Lobivia will start flowering around mid-May. And yeah, the first big flower flush will roughly be at the end of May. And I will film that already. I will have the live stream with me. And yeah, the first plants, like with the kind of plants that I have, it's usually always the same plants that are flowering early in the season. So I assume that Paul Ehrlich will flower, maybe a few Lobivia hybrids, Dessau. These kind of plants will flower first, and then later you get the bigger plants that need a little longer. So the main flower season will be between May and September, maybe. Yeah, May and September, and then I'm already preparing the winter again. So today I cleaned the desk for the time-lapse videos. I want to start with the time-lapse videos today. And I will try to do a time-lapse with the chili plant to show how it's dehydrating, like when you're not watering it, and then how it's hydrating again when it's getting water again. So I want to do that maybe today. I already started to let the plant dehydrate a little bit, and now would be a good time to put it under the camera. So maybe later today. So yeah, everything's on a good road. New season is coming up soon. And I mean, technically, I already count this as new season. For me, it's already the new year. I have left everything behind. Like everything from the past was such a bad couple of years that I'm just looking forward now. Oh, I overlooked it. I'm sorry. Do you grow anything other than cacti? yeah, like I said, I have maybe 6 or 7 chili, a few trees that I've planted from different kind of trees, tree seeds. I'm growing a few chestnuts, and yeah, let me show you. This might be a good chance, so let me just put this away. My mom brought me a few different seeds for the channel. I really have no limitations about sowing out, and I want to just start sowing out different stuff, different vegetables, maybe a pawpaw tree, stuff like that. So let me show you what my mom brought me, and this is not an advertisement. You know, I can't really speak about the quality of the producers. This is just what my mom bought me. I can't really influence my mom, you know, so I just show them what she brought me. This is red beets. I'm not sure if I can grow these inside. I believe they might need a deeper pot. We will see. Then I got watermelon. Yeah, we will see with that. I do not have a lot of other cacti apart from the stuff that I'm working with. I just try to use the little space that I have for anything, like for my own crosses, you know, like I have 3 very small greenhouses, and in order to make crosses the way I do it, I'm a breeder, and I often want to see what came from my seeds, and you need a lot of space for that, and the little space that I have is barely enough to see out a few hybrids here and there, you know, maybe 100 seedlings that you allow to get bigger. My space is very limited, so I don't really grow any like that many different cacti. I have a few Epiphyllum, Cactus. I have Hageocereus. I have a few multi-hybrids with Oreocereus. I used to have a lot of Chamecereus, like these Lobivia silvestri kind of peanut cactus plants. I had a lot of those, but also I kind of left that behind because the flowers are so small. What else? Yeah, a few like plants here and there where I see potential to make crosses with them. Nothing really Mexican, simply because for one, I don't have the space, and also for the kind of content that I post, it's getting a little bit too. It's just an industry that I want nothing to do with, you know, like because you have these strictly protected kind of cacti. So every plant that you have, everything that you grow is looked at critically. I've been a moderator in a lot of these cactus groups about Ariocarpus, that kind of stuff, you know, and it's a whole different thing. I feel like the people are different, and I really like the community, like the people that grow these hybrids the same way I do. You don't have to worry about extinction. The plants that I'm growing, they're all hybrids. It's nothing from nature, where I could have, you know, where people could come to me and say, hey, you're growing a plant that is threatened, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that kind of talk. So I'm just growing these kind of hybrids just because I like it. And like I said, the lack of space is really an issue. But yeah, great to see you. Hey, welcome to the live stream. And I don't like spicy food. I really don't. But I will grow them, and when the chili, when they are finally flowering and when they have fruit, I will try them. But I really do not. I'm not used to spicy food, and I'm sure it will be devastating for me. It will be really painful, but I will do it, you know? You can't really grow them without trying them. So yeah, that's what I will do. Okay, so here, this is paprika, capsicum annuum. Okay. And cucumber. Maybe we can grow the cucumber. No, not cucumber. What is it? Like for Halloween? Pumpkin. Okay, pumpkin. So we could grow our own Halloween pumpkin, maybe. Hey, Robert, welcome to the live stream. I've just discussed a few different seeds that my mom bought. I would have loved if she had brought a few, you know, like, I don't know, fruit shrubs or something like that, but I can't really influence what my mom does. So now I'm growing pumpkin, paprika, watermelon, and beets, red beets, the really healthy kind of stuff. So yeah, maybe we're sowing out sometime soon. I will have to look into those. Okay, this is grown in pots. Like the pumpkin, we could grow on the live stream. I'm just looking at. I don't think you can plant certain things like this here. I think you need to plant outside. Yeah, maybe we're doing it, but that would require additional work. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, great to see you, Robert. We have almost made it to the weekend. It's almost over. So yeah, I will water those here. Just want to show you them. They look okay. Not great, not terrible. I will just spray them a little bit, and then they go back under the plant lamp. And then this one, I wanted to show you that we need to clean up a little. I saw that there are 1 or 2 seedlings that didn't make it here, that just need cleanup. So I'm taking that out. Every seedling that where you only see the dried up spines afterwards, you can take that out, and you should take that out because it's unhealthy for the other seedlings that are still left in the same soil. So I'm cleaning that up now. I also take out bigger pieces of wood. I don't want that on top of the soil. It's just, it stays dry. It takes too long to dry. And when you have little seedlings like this, you have something that's wet, that's pressing against the seedling all the time. It's not good. Okay, I would spray them again here, because I've seen a seedling that we might have to move into the soil. But possible that this is already a goner. It doesn't have a root, and it should have one. There's a tiny bit, but I don't believe that is all it had. Okay, here's another seedling that I need to take out that didn't make it. Here's one that has a damaged base. This looks like fungus gnat. Welcome to the fungus gnat channel, everyone. We are back. Fungus gnats are back on the menu. I love it. So I would spray them now once more, and then the soil needs to dry out here because of the fungus gnats. I try to keep this thing as clean as possible because if you have a dirty soil that takes too long to dry with big pieces of wood, that kind of just keeps the seedlings from drying out, like from the root base dries out, and sometimes that's important. Okay, so these need a little bit water. They are too deep, but we will repot them very soon. For now, let's maybe start with the others that I wanted to repot here. These are just in a full pot. This is the end if we don't get active here. So let me just maybe get 2 pots that we can spread these out over. I think we need at least 2 pots, maybe 3. We will see. Okay, and I try to fill the pot again, always filling everything up here. I don't want to have this kind of thing where they are so deep in the pot. In the future, I don't want that anymore. That has been really a problem. Keeping the seedlings too deep taking away light, keeping everything too humid. Like the deeper down they were, the less light they got, the less hydration, like dehydration you had from the lamp. So yeah. And this is the kind of stuff that you sometimes find in sowing soil. Can't put that in. It just takes too long to dry. Okay. Let me try to get these out here. This is really one solid block of seedlings. Should have done this a while ago. Yeah, it's not too late, but you can already see that when you have the seedlings that are pressing against the wall, you will get infections here on the base everywhere. So I would try to single out the seedlings, just removing the soil. And I place them on top of the new pot where they come in, where I put them in. They don't have to be perfectly, like totally single, like one seedling. You can keep them together in groups of little seedlings, but if it gets hard to pot them in, to get them into the soil, then you need to take them apart. Yeah, I remember. That is, I'm not sure what that could be. Usually, like if you have a seedling that looks weird, if you see that kind of white epidermis, it could be that you have a problem with something that's biting the seedling. You know, sometimes you have scarring as a reaction of the seedling, for example, to fungus gnat, to mealybug, something like that can happen. Apart from that, maybe it's hard to say. Maybe send me a photo. I would love to have a look at it somewhere on social media, or I don't know how you I don't know how you post photos on YouTube. It's probably not possible, but I would love to have a look at that because I'm not sure what it is. So yeah, I would keep that in mind, and I would really be interested to hear what causes that. I am using a fertilizer, like a liquid fertilizer, with a pH buffer. And yeah, the fertilizer I use every 3 weeks maybe on the seedlings. And the pH buffer is somewhere at 5.5 to 6.5. And yeah, that's good when you work with a little bit older soil. The pH buffer can sometimes make it a little bit usable again for the root. Yeah, and I like that fertilizer. I bought me a 20-liter can or something like that, or 10 liters. I'm not sure. And I've been using it for the last 5 years. I still haven't used it up completely. And that's great. Like the one that I'm using, and again, this is not an ad, but it's a company called Vuxal Super, and it's a good fertilizer. As far as I can tell, it has all the micronutrients. It has the pH buffer, that kind of stuff, you know. Oh, okay, I understand. I'm sorry. I understand. Yeah. Of maybe the seedling kind of was burned. Yeah, that could be. Like maybe a chemical burn or something like that. That can look whitish, maybe. The first instinct that I have is just scars. Scars or maybe sunburn, you know, something like that. And chemical burn could be the same. It's basically the same process. Just burned by something else. Okay. It's really when I'm doing this, when I'm doing my live streams, like I'm back in kindergarten. I'm playing in the mud again. Like, and here's the new, check out the new equipment that I have here. I'm fully equipped for the gardening channel. Okay. There's so many seedlings in there. It's absolutely unbelievable. And there are more. This isn't even half. This is too much. I don't need so many. I really need to save that up in my brain. Like that sowing out. I need to get that under control. This is a 250, 300 seedlings maybe. I'm not sure, but it's too many. Huh? Maybe it's the cinnamon that is collecting on top of the seedling. I wouldn't use cinnamon because it will stay there, you know, like it might actually cause mold. Cinnamon is something that I see talked about quite a lot, but I haven't seen it being very useful, to be honest. My opinion, it takes away visibility, you know, where you suddenly have that kind of stuff collect on the soil or on the seedlings. So maybe it's the cinnamon. Would make sense in my opinion, because it can't go anywhere. Like if it's ground down, eventually it will collect on the soil or on the seedlings. Okay, so I will start to pot in these seedlings here. I just wanna get this to a point where I'm not losing seedlings because they are pressing against the wall. Okay. Okay. These are getting pretty big. Seedlings almost look like Gräser hybrids, maybe. See what that is. Yeah. These are Gräsers Erfolg Selbstbestäubung and Cantora, and they are great. This is a good plant. I have one of those myself, like a mother plant, same kind of hybrid. Maybe a sister of this one, but also very similar, and they are amazing. And they grow into like 1.5 square meter full of cactus, of spiny cactus. Really cool plants. So it's good that we kind of invested the time here. Would be a waste with the seedlings. We would see what we do with them. Yeah, I mean, I really try to avoid fungal, like having to use a fungicide, but sometimes there's no other way. But yeah, I like in the way I garden. If something is getting a fungal infection, I usually try to question what I did, like the care that the plant got. You know, you can sometimes you can prevent fungal infections by treating the plants well, and that's usually my kind of MO when I find a fungal infection. I try to see, okay, where could I have, how could I have prevented this, you know? But yeah, when you're sowing out, a fungicide can also be good. In most cases, like I really want to stress this point. In most cases, when you have some sort of an outbreak in a container. Oh, guys, let me see this. Is this charging? In most cases, when you see an outbreak, when you're losing seedlings, there's very often a reason for it. You either have, like, when you suddenly lose many seedlings at once, it can be something like a heat damage where the seedlings get too much heat. It can be drought. It can be that the roots have been constantly wet and have started to rot. It can be that the lamp is too strong. It can be that the temperature overnight goes down too much. That kind of stuff, you know. So when you really see like that you're losing seedlings and it looks like a fungal infection, just make sure that you are ruling out that the fungal infection is just a secondary infection, just a follow-up to whatever has caused the damage, you know, because you will always get a fungal infection even if the seedlings have been lost due to another reason, due to excessive heat, due to a chemical that you were using, due to having like a too high concentration of a fertilizer. It would always look like a fungal infection. But very often you just have seedling decay, the classic decay, and the actual reason was something else. You always have to keep that in mind, that happens a lot. In my opinion, the main time when I see fungal infection, actual fungal infection, is when I have when you either have a dirty kind of soil where you have the top layer, where the top layer is contaminated, or when the plants are excessively root bound, when you have plants that are in too small pot, that have a really tiny pot, so the plant is just not so healthy. And that often benefits fungal infections that will instantly jump on top of a sick, weak seedling, that kind of stuff, you know. So that's my whole approach that I usually try to do. I really try to look into what caused the seedlings to disappear, and very often there's a reason. Okay, yeah, I have, like in this container, I have them somewhat in the soil now. In the other container, I still have a lot to do, but we're getting there. That's great to hear. Great to hear. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, it's a great feeling when things go right. I mean, you learn more when things don't go right. But like when you get started and you have these little success stories, for me, that's always worth it. You know, that's worth the pain to lose a few seedlings here and there. Like when it goes right, it's a great hobby. It's a great thing to grow something. Okay, so I'm almost done with these. And at some point we will have to, I don't know what to do with all those seedlings. But I will find a way. Maybe we will graft on some of them. Because these could be great grafting stocks. These are growing into pretty wide plants, pretty thick diameter. They could be great for grafting on them. And if they flower later on, that's even better. So I try to grow them all in this case, if we don't use them, we will use them as grafting stock. Okay. And I'm sure we will lose a few of the seedlings that we now moved. They're just not perfect. Some of them have mild little deficits, little problems here and there. But overall, I think most of them will make it. I will fill up I still have a little bit of space here in between. I will try to fill up wherever I can. Look, and this is completely honest what I'm saying now. I constantly change between calling myself the worst gardener ever to live and the best one. Like, it's always ranging in between. Like with the cacti, there's no middle ground. Sometimes when things go right, it's perfect. But very often, there are these moments when you feel like, oh my God, did I really do that mistake? Is this really the best I could do? And it's always changing in between, back and forth. So don't feel bad. That I feel like it's normal to a certain degree. It's just a difficult hobby. Gardening is difficult. Keeping things alive is very difficult. It's easier to do the opposite, So don't feel bad. And at some point, you will just run out of mistakes to make. You have made them all at some point, and that makes you great. That's just how it works, how you learn. I learned more from from the really bad failures that I had than from the successes. When things failed, I really reconsidered. I really took a step back and said, I'm not doing it like this again. Like with this week, I found a seedling, like a plant in the greenhouse that I really liked, that I lost over winter. And just from that moment, like from realizing, okay, this was my mistake, I have instantly decided in the future, the winter temperature will be 2 degrees warmer, just because that mistake bothered me so much. And yeah, that's how you get good, how you step up, how you you're constantly learning, evolving, finding new ways to fail, and then you try to find more ways to get around that. Okay. Yeah, there are so many seedlings. We need a third one, and we will do that tomorrow probably. I'll leave these here, and tomorrow we will put these into another pot, into a fourth pot. For now, this is okay. Since I also don't have a pencil, I can't even write the label now. So I will just leave it the way it is. Okay. What I wanted to do to end the stream, I'm almost going offline, like very soon. But I still need to water a few seedlings here and there, so I would just scrub the mud away like a gentleman here, cleaning up a little, and then I will spray a few seedlings here and there. Okay, yeah, these need water. I wanted to show you. I brought them here just to water them. The soil looks dry enough that fungus gnats are not an issue, but now they need water. Okay. Now these here. Also, this is hard on. This is like close to the edge. You really need to water them now. And I will water them a little bit more because there's one seedling that I want to lift up again that has fallen over. Not sure why. But at this point, when the soil is so dehydrated, it can already happen just because the soil becomes too dry. So here's a seedling that is covered by soil. I lift that one back up. Here's a piece of wood that I want to take out, little root also. Here's a seedling that I fixed. Okay, and this will go back. Watering it again, because they will need a while to take in the water, and by that time it might already be evaporated again. So I'm putting in a little bit extra. Okay, these here, yeah. The one thing that I really want to say is this looks like that, like a cake, and the soil is firm, really like a cake baked into this thing. It's not good to grow plants like that. For now they are okay, they will do it. Eventually we will repot them. Eventually we will have to repot them, take them out of this thing, because it's just not good to have soil that's always in that shape. And this container, the takeaway container, just does that naturally. It causes that naturally, just with the shape and with how flexible this thing is. Okay, so here are seedlings that I wanted to spray again. These are a little bit smaller, really small. And these here need water all the time. And I try to get the right time when the soil has just dried out, and then I spray it again. And it's really a fine line. When you're growing seedlings, you're kind of trying to recreate the perfect setup, the perfect conditions that they would have in nature, if everything goes right. And that's not easy. Sometimes in nature, they don't have so many problems with fungus gnat, for example, because in nature, the soil would dry out faster. And but then it's raining again, then you have humidity again, and you have to recreate that inside if you have one of those containers where the seedlings are a little bit weaker, like in this case. Okay, these need water. They're really small and haven't been growing well in the beginning, so that's why I repotted them. They now have a new soil, and the only thing they need is water. Hope we can get them. We can get them through this. They don't look bad. Like, some of them actually have spines. Some of them look like they will actually grow. But it's dangerous at that size. We will have to make sure that I don't miss to water them. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow I will fix these here. And for the future, I will not sow out so many anymore. This is entirely too many. Something needs to change. I don't want to spend my, like, these kind of pots where you just need 4 pots just for one. That's not good. That will end badly. I know it. So we will, in the future, everything that I sow out, I will not sow out more than 30 seeds. Okay. Yeah, I think this is enough. It will take me an hour to clean that muddy desk again. But yeah, it was great to be back. I enjoyed the live stream, and I think we will continue to do it until April, at least April, and then we will start to stream outside with the cacti from the greenhouses. And yeah, have a great day, everyone. Thank you for having been here today again with me. I appreciate it. I'm always glad to see you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. We have almost made it. The day's almost, like the weekend's close. So thank you, everyone. I will be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Okay, thank you.